Welcome in. I'm John. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to paint a very simple but classic cartoon character, Winnie the Pooh. This here I actually painted for my wife. Stay tuned. Now I just made a really light drawing here so that I can paint over with watercolors. Now typically we're just going to use a couple of different colors. We're going to use probably these are some of the colors we're going to use. I'm going to try this color too for the red portion of Winnie the Pooh. Let's see, not many colors, but I always tape down my project because it wants to move. So as you see, I'm taping it down. A lot of times when you add a lot of water, because I'm going to add water to this, and it just wants to naturally curl. So I'm starting out with some real basic colors, you know, make it look like Winnie the Pooh's body, and it's just real simple. I already did a very light outline, so small you can't, or so light you can't even see it, but I'm just trying to fill it in. Basically, I did this painting for my wife because I know she likes Winnie the Pooh. There you see a little bit of the detail of the lines. I like a structure when I'm painting, no matter what it is, landscaping or figures or whatever. I like to draw the structures within it before I start it. And you can put water down over top of pencil. It's fine. It doesn't go anywhere. Like most of it doesn't. And then so once I draw my figures, whatever I want to do, I'll go through and I'll start painting what I think is appropriate. Sometimes we do the background first. Sometimes we'll paint the figures out first, and then we'll bring some background color to it. And there's different ways to do that. This particular one, this wasn't very challenging, but it was fun to do. And at the end of the day, you know, make people happy. They like that. So I made this one just specifically for my wife, so I knew she liked Winnie the Pooh, and a lot of people do. And he's an interesting little character. You'll see that I'm just going to keep darkening in, and it's all just watercolor. There's nothing spectacular. I'll mix it with some water to get the consistency I want to brush it on, and you know, darken in some areas to show some shading. You can use more water or less water, or you know, go back through and keep darkening. Like you see, I'm continually darkening in his little fur. I like to try to use the same color all the way through, so that I don't have to keep reinvigorating and mixing the colors up. And this is, like I said, pretty basic. Just going through there, painting everything out. Pretty much a paint by numbers at this point. Once you draw your figure out, it really shouldn't be too difficult, especially when you're dealing with cartoons. Like I did my Betty Boop ones. Same thing, you know. Basically, once you get the outline, there's no real. You're not really mixing or pulling colors apart, or you know, you're not trying to fan it or spread it out and thin it and do stuff like a sky or something like that. That's not really what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it look like the actual cartoon itself. So they're pretty straight colors, and it's very easy to do. I think here, I'm not sure if I'm using a black or an indigo. It could be either way. Most of the time we don't use a straight black when we're doing most of our stuff, but for him I think I actually used a straight black. I'm not sure, and then we're going to get his eyeballs in there too. Yeah, black works out well with his fur tone, that's for sure. And you can just like draw in some other areas that need to be done. Not really very difficult. You can see I'm going to use some red for the balloon. And that's a pretty strong red. I think I'm going to put a little bit of water in that thing just so it flows better. And you can go over the red continually if you want it darker, or thicker, whatever you're looking for. Again, you know, it's pretty much a paint by numbers. I try to let the other colors dry at least to an extent, so they don't bleed over on them, because you don't want any bleed over when you're doing watercolors. And you can see that's his shirt. I thought we're doing the balloon, but I think that the balloon comes later. But again, you're just filling it in, pretty simple stuff. Anybody can do that. If I can do it, believe me, anybody can do this. But what helps is having a little guide. Always have a guide on how you're going to do it. So that's why it's important, I think, to draw out your whatever you're going to do, like whatever features you're going to do. If you want to draw a cartoon, draw the cartoon out in pencil first, and then you can just fill them in. So much easier. Now we're going to do the balloon. But I stress, don't put a lot of a pencil on it. Like just be very light with your pencils, so that you don't have to see them. Like I can't hardly, in the video, I can hardly see some of the pencil marks in there. Very soft, very subtle, not very bright. And you can see the balloon, when I first put the color over there, it's kind of light. So I'm going to go over it a couple times, get some more color into it. Now the one thing about watercolors is that once it dries, it loses a lot of its luster. It looks washed out, and that's pretty typical of watercolors. So in order to fix that, what I like to do once I'm done with the coloring, so see, I'm going over it again. You want to make sure you have enough color in there. Enough, if you want like a solid blue, make sure it's solid. But once you have it in there, once all the colors are done and they dry off, how you can bring up the colors in there, I'm going to use a pen right now to do some of the fine detailing. So I love to use this pen. It's like a .35, real fine pen, and it just allows you to darken in the lines, and you can fill in all the little areas. Like especially a cartoon. Cartoons are generally outlined. So this was good line work for any type of cartoons. And you can see that. See, once you get that, it just darkens everything in. It really, now you can see the ears better, and then wow, look at that. And then you can see the forehead better. So most cartoons have a dark outline no matter what they do. And you can see that line work really brings that guy out. So once that's all done, you can see how his little paws are done. All that stuff is working out real well. And at the very end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a can of lacquer. Now lacquer is going to bring the luster of your painting forward. It will look a lot richer once you start spraying it. The issue that I've had with spraying lacquer on here is it's going to take a lot of lacquer, and it will curl your drawing. That's another reason why I tape it all down. You have to keep it taped for several days, or you tape it, let it dry, because lacquer dries pretty quick. You're going to have to put it under a frame. You're going to have to put it under a weight or something if you don't want to keep it taped. But I keep it taped for several days, even a week or so, and just it will curl it if you don't. I've had it happen, and you're going to be disappointed, just like me. But if you can keep it flat for at least several days and put it into a frame, you'll be fine. And the luster that you're going to get from this painting once you spray it, it's really worth it. I think it's like $15-16 a can or something like that for lacquer here. I get the high gloss, get a gloss or semi-gloss or high gloss, and just spray it. And it's going to take, you spray it, let it set, let it dry, and just repeat that until you get it what you want. I like a lot, so I take maybe a third of a can, half a can, something like that, depending on, and I just keep adding layers. Let it dry, give it a few hours, spray some more, give them a couple hours, spray some more. There it is, there's my lacquer. And as you can see, once we hit it, you can see the color just bounce. It comes right up, and it really works. And then once it dries, you can remove it, right? And that's what I do. And then that there, look at that. So you can see the luster. As you can see, I left the balloon so it looks like it had, a little bit of light coming from the left. Anyways, I hope you really enjoyed this. It's very simple but very cool. Like, subscribe, and share. Thanks so much for watching.